everyone, and happy Halloween. We invite you to spend some time in this next hour with a pagan perspective of Halloween, or as it is also known, Samhain. The celebration and symbols of Halloween, which children will never let us abandon, are a complicated mixture of ghosts, goblins, fear, and delight. The context in which the celebration arose was the final harvest of the year. Nothing more would be taken from the land. There was an acute awareness from past experience that the winter ahead would be cold and challenging. Livestock were slaughtered so they would not have to be fed from dwindling stores. Pagans see the unfolding of the year, one journey around the sun, as the representation of a great cycle of birth and death and rebirth. And they have celebrated the journey as the miracle that it is. This time of year, as summer wanes and winter waits on the horizon, is sometimes called the season of the witch. We are asked to listen to the witch, who is really the crone, an aspect of the great good mother goddess, as she offers us her wisdom.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And there's time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to believe. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
like to look at are continuity and imagination. Continuity. Halloween asks us to acknowledge the continuity of human existence. I'm going to paraphrase a scene from the Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood that touched me very deeply and expresses one understanding I have of Halloween. A mother is speaking to her daughter, and she says something like, "I have spent my life frustrated by so many ideas and desires that always seemed just out of reach. But now, when I look at you, I see that I gave birth to the person I wanted to be." As egos, we are tempted to view our lives as bracketed by birth and death. At this season, the tradition says that the veil between the worlds is thin. That means that while everything around us begins to suggest our own mortality, the ancestors, the beloved dead, approach us and ask us to understand that one generation is a continuation of the next. From Wendell Berry. We clasp the hands of those who go before us and the hands of those who come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms and the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life, who move also in a dance, to a music so subtle and vast that no ear hears it except in fragments. This is the season to acknowledge our debt to all who have gone before us and our promise to those who will follow. Imagination. Many pagans view this season as the start of the year, not an end, but a beginning. Writing about the observance of the turning of the seasons, Starhawk says, "Begin in the dark of the year when there comes a crack in time, a moment when the veil is thin, and those who have gone before us and those who will come after us are not separate from us. In that fertile moment, when present, past, and future meet, the year child is conceived. What is conceived is all possibility, for the child is as yet unformed." Imagination is the prerequisite to magic. We can turn to children to remind us how to ignite our imagination. I saved these Halloween essays that appeared in the Worcester Telegram one year because I was struck by the children's instinctive understanding of how to use Halloween. Magic tells us that we can only be what we can imagine. The children are doing it just right. They wrote, "I want to be a Star Trooper for Halloween. My Halloween costume this year might be a dog or cat. If I'm a dog, I would like to be a German Shepherd. This Halloween, I'm going to be a mean old witch. I think I might be a football player for Halloween. This year for Halloween, I hope to be Cinderella." Notice that these children don't say they're going to dress as. They say they are going to be. In this act of the imagination, they incorporate an energy into their lives that they can project into the coming year. They are seizing what Starhawk called all possibility. Many pagans choose to dress at Halloween as an energy that they want to bring into their lives. I invite you all to take a moment to imagine what character you would like to be this Halloween season. Take a moment during the offertory and imagine the energy you would like to take with you into the new year. Consider sharing your thoughts. confidence and trust. The final message of Halloween is abundance, and we might define abundance as the confidence and trust that we will have what we need. When I was growing up, nothing suggested abundance to me more than Halloween. Again, I quote from the children, "Sweet, sour, fun, and neat. Oh, candy is such a treat. Lollipops, chocolate, mints, and gum. When I see candy, my head says, yum, yum, yum." Halloween is going to be fun because I always get lots of candy. In the midst of the grimmer aspects of this season, we see the anticipation and celebration of more candy, sweetness, abundance than would ever seem reasonable in any other context. It is given and received as a statement of confidence in the universe, or as some denominations have called it, providence. So in the midst of all this fun, why the skeletons and the ghosts and the creepy music? On a spiritual level, the scary pictures around us are a symbolic practice for the hard work of turning inward to face our fears and assess what is really important. This season can be a good time to deal with things that are scary. When we finally summon the courage to look the crone in her face, we find a reassuring smile. Her message is trust. Even as winter's scarcity awakened, people celebrated abundance as we still do today. Tradition said that anything still in the fields at Samhain must be left for animals and the poor. This offering was an affirmation and an act of faith that the people would have what they needed. It is a season of courage, a time for devotion to the way of the wild places and seeking the calmness of solitary locales, a time for finding understanding and confiding in a trusted friend. It is a season of meditation. It is a time to know the endurance of the hills and so to grow in one's own inner firmness. A time for scrupulousness and thoroughness and considering all things. It is a season of confidence. The last grain has been cut, yet the natural world tells us that this is not an ending. Yule is once again on the way, and with it, the rebirth of light. One more hint from the children. Have fun this Halloween.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. My monster from his slab began to rise. Then suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
He did the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
he did the mash.
He did the monster mash. Then out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. It seemed he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
It's now the mash,
It's now the monster mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard smash. You'll catch on in a flash. It's now the monster mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of his band. My monster mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was made. tell them Boris sent you.
The music and mash.
Then you can monster mash,
The monster mash.
It was a graveyard